Smokin. Hey, what's up? I'm Roller Coaster Rider.
Hi, and I'm Kay.
And believe it or not, we haven't seen, until now, the 1994 classic Jim Carrey's The Mask from Zero to Hero,
Woohoo!
which Disney would later steal for Hercules, because that was one of the songs.
Ah,
The movie, uh, the movie has Jim Carrey as a bank teller, right?
no, he was like a bank assistant or clerk or something.
Okay.
Because the tellers are behind the window that just do deposits and that. So he opens bank accounts and talks about different accounts that the bank has.
So, he's kind of made to be like the good guy slash lovable loser.
Yeah,
So, like, he gets tickets for this girl that he clearly has a crush on. Do you remember her name?
no.
Okay. Uh, and we're sorry. Um, so he's like, "Oh, you and your friend go to the concert," and then his coworker says,
Man, that was, what did he say? Not nice of you, or the cheapest, or
"No, it was
the
about
cheekiest.
him wanting to go to the club."
Yeah, but he said about giving the
Yeah,
tickets to that girl, which was a one scene girl at the bank.
I thought she came back.
I don't
Wasn't
remember.
she the reporter?
No,
Oh, okay.
she worked in the bank. So
Um,
then his friend comes by, who's like Mr. Sly Yucky. Um,
what was his name? Larry from Three's Company.
mm.
Yeah, it was. Uh,
so he wants to take him out on the town to the newest place, Cobo Club or something.
the Coconut Club or something.
Coco Club.
Yeah.
Coco Bay or whatever it was. And he said he could get him in. So, and then he says, okay, but then Cameron Diaz comes in.
As the hottest person on the planet.
Yep. That wants to open an account.
No offense.
And I'm like, watch, she's going to rob the place. Because she wasn't staring at him directly. She was looking all around the bank. So that's what I thought. And then sure enough,
And
in
yeah.
her purse, she had a camera.
Mm-hmm.
So she was filming the bank, like where the vault was and everything.
So anyway, Jim Carrey goes to the mechanic to get his car, and in logic that you have to suspend your disbelief in, the mechanic says, "Oh, we found something that'll cost you $50,000."
Well, there was no price on it yet.
Yeah.
He went in for an oil change and they said your transmission and listed all these things. And so they wanted him to sign a sheet of paper, but there was no price on it as to how much all the labor and parts were going to cost. So he gets a loaner.
I think a bicycle would have been classier.
I think it was rent a junk or rent a wreck or a wreck or something. Rent a wreck.
It was just, it was like one of those cars that you have to help push.
To get it going.
Yeah, that was hysterical.
So he goes to the club.
And he gets water poured on him, something?
No,
Or drink?
he meets up with his friend, but his friend and the two girls get in, and he doesn't get in. And then he says, "Oh, it's just misunderstanding." And so he goes around the rope,
Mm-hmm.
and then they pick him up and they throw him in the gutter, which it had been raining that day, so there was water, and he got all soaked
And then he gets splashed by a car driving.
driving by. And then Cameron Diaz's character shows up again because she sings at the club.
Mm-hmm.
So then he drives home in his,
Bad car.
yep, lemon, so to speak. Everything goes wrong, and then it stalls on a bridge.
It's not.
And
It's not even good enough to be a lemon. It's like a rotten lemon.
yeah, and he goes to open up the hood, and the front fender falls off, and then the tires fall off. The whole thing just flat on the road.
And then he thinks someone is drowning,
Right.
which is the mask, actually.
Yep.
So he jumps in, gets the mask, and he apparently has a landlady, which is like really terrible.
Yeah.
Because he's completely soaked and he's walking and she's like,
My new carpet!
I'm taking this out of your security deposit.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah. And so his dog, Milo?
Yep.
He does a little bit of frisbee playing.
Well, Jim Carrey, he gets the frisbee from Milo, throws it
Mhm.
once, and then Milo wants to play again, and he's looking at the mask and puts on the mask.
And that's when things go a little crazy.
You could say that.
Where he goes from, toned down, laid back, okay, I'll do whatever you want. Jim Carrey into, like, classic, crazy, cartoony Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Perfect casting for this role.
Yes.
I can't think of any actor then or now which would have
Able to pull
worked.
it off.
Yeah. And so he gets revenge on the old lady by shooting an alarm clock and then, like...
No, he was pounding it with, like, a sledgehammer.
Yeah. I was thinking there was going to be a Shining joke.
Oh.
Because he was going to, like, crash into, like, the door and be like, here's Shining.
Yeah.
Then the lady has a gun and she tries to shoot him, but he bounces everywhere like Daffy Duck.
Yep, and then flies out the window.
Well, crashes through the window.
Yeah.
And then he encounters some bullies.
In the alley.
Mm-hmm. Including one thing that I thought was pretty funny, where he makes one of them a what is it? A poodle or something?
Yep.
No, he makes him a giraffe. And so the other one is like, I want that. And he's like, no, you can't. No, it's mine.
So then he makes a French poodle.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one is a long black balloon that he makes into a machine gun.
Yeah. Then he wakes up the next day.
Yep, and then the police are at his door, admiring his weird pajamas. But,
and he has no idea what happens. He just thought it was a weird dream, and then it was
Yeah.
like, ooh, that's weird, or maybe it was real. So then he goes to the bank, and he
throws the mask out the window.
Yeah.
And then the mask comes
which
back
boomerangs back to him. And so, what next? Then he goes to his job. He's about 30 minutes late.
Yep.
And then then a newspaper reporter comes in and is like, I want to interview you about the mask.
Oh, about the shooting.
Yeah.
No, she didn't come the first night. The second night, when he went to the garage with mufflers or transmissions or something, kind of teaches the guys that are ripping them off something about a tailpipe.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes to the bank because he was late. She comes to the bank and she's like, do you have any car or whatever being serviced at this garage?
No, they have pollution in them.
Yeah.
Or no, they have pollution. They're pollution.
Don't you own a, what'd you say, a
89.
89.
The movie was made in 94.
Okay. 89.
That's like us having a 2045 car.
So he said, yes, I do. But he didn't know anything about what was going on. So then, also that night, he ends up at the Coco Club.
Yeah.
And
after he steals a bunch of money.
Yeah. Yeah, he got there before the thugs got there to rob the bank.
The cops were there at the right time because they were like, you guys are under arrest. Like,
we didn't do it. We didn't rob it. The green face guy, mask guy.
So then he throws a bunch of money to get people into the club. Or to get into the club.
Yep.
Then he does typical Tex Avery, out crazy, like, oh,
Eyes popping out,
boing.
heart pounding out of his
Yeah.
chest.
Which I would have liked to have seen more of that. That's usually my favorite in Tex Avery cartoons, personally.
Oh.
Actually, most of Tex's cartoons are my favorite because they're fast-paced and slapsticky.
So he ends up dancing with Cameron Diaz's character. And then what happens is one of the guys that was leading the group to rob the bank, he got shot and he died. And then the guy that wanted to take over the mafia gang or whatever it was said, "Who did this?" And he said, the guy with the green mask on. And he said, "He's right there down in his club dancing."
And the detective found out that it was Stanley because part of his pajamas ripped off.
Yeah, the cloth was there.
Let's see, what else? So then Stanley realizes that there's a bunch of money in his
closet.
In his closet.
When the cop comes back.
Mm-hmm. And when he goes to the bank, he now has a new attitude.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
The son of the dad that owns the bank,
yeah,
told him, "You are 40 minutes late or whatever, blah blah blah," and he's like, "Back off!
Back off, or I'll tell your dad that
you're ripping the bank
you're
off.
You're using this as your personal piggy bank." Okay then.
Or should we get the IRS in here to do an audit?
Yeah.
And he goes, "Carry on, do your job," you know.
So then Cameron Diaz comes by. Somehow knows that Stanley knows who the mask is. And so she's like, I want to go out on another date. I want to go out on a date with him because, he was really good. Or he was really nice. And so, they go on another date.
I thought she wanted the $50,000
yeah.
that her boss / boyfriend was offering to whoever could catch the mask. Which I never figured the newspaper reporter would do it.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
It's a 14-year-old movie. So then Jim Carrey is very romantic as the mask on the date. And then they do the Cuban Pete dance move.
Yeah.
Dance musical. It's like Cop Rock except funny on purpose.
Yeah.
We just saw a video where they mentioned Cop Rock, so yeah. There's a fugitive reference because the one-armed bandit.
Yeah.
And then and we're not going to reveal too much more. Okay.
Okay. That's
What'd
fine.
you think of it?
I guess it was better than I thought. I really don't like Jim Carrey as a character. I like Cameron Diaz since that was her first movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it wasn't as bad as some of later Jim Carrey.
What do you think are his bad movies?
I don't even know. I stopped watching them because I didn't like... It seemed like all the characters were going to be the same.
Well, he does have an elastic face and kinetic style.
Yeah.
Like, I liked The Grinch. I liked Bruce Almighty. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
It just seems so that
Mr. Popper's Penguins.
Just seems like there's some actors that kind of do the same thing over and over again.
Mm-hmm. But like, The Majestic, wasn't a huge fan of. Number 23, wasn't a huge fan of. Truman Show, I haven't seen that in a while, but I didn't like it when I saw it. What else?
I think in his
Fun with Dick and Jane wasn't that good.
In his younger years of acting, it's fine to do all this kind of stuff, but
yeah, this was during his this was around the time he also did the first Dumb and Dumber, which not a huge fan of Dumb and Dumber or Dumb and Dumber 2. let's see.
But that's
And
okay.
it was also during Ace Ventura around that time.
Yeah.
I haven't seen those two movies, so we're going to see them in the future.
Well, maybe I should clarify that sentence. I didn't really see half of the movies that you mentioned. I saw Bruce Almighty. Now I've seen The Mask. I don't even
The
know.
Grinch?
I don't even think I lasted through The Grinch if I even started to watch it.
That one it would be tough to know that it was Jim Carrey that did it.
Right. But I don't know, I didn't like his type of acting, you know?
Well, he was fresh off in Living Color, where he was very elastic and cartoony.
Okay.
Like Fire Marshal Bill.
I don't think I remember that character.
I am a fire marshal. It was where he would say, like, crazy scenarios, like, let's say you're mopping and you have a bottle of plutonium and you pour it into the fireplace. Accidents can happen.
Okay.
I have In Living Color on DVD if you want to see some.
But anyway, back to this movie. Okay, so the ending becomes very surprised with Milo, Jim Carrey, and Cameron Diaz. And what happens to the mask. And you get to meet the mayor of Edge City.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're going to have to get through it, see the ending, and tell us what you think.
If I had, I have two complaints. One, I thought there was a little too much smoking for the intended audience.
Maybe, yeah.
And I thought this could have used more mask. Because it seemed like it was more Jim Carrey's Stanley character than the Mask character.
But the Mask was only at night, so he had night and day. He worked in the bank during the day, and at night he put on the mask.
I still feel like it could have used more of the mask. Like, show more of him at night, being a crazy person.
Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. So anyway, would you tell people to watch it?
I would you?
If you're a Jim Carrey fan, you might have already seen it. If you're not, go ahead and see it.
It's not torturous or terrible, and it's 97 minutes.
Yep.
Okay, we'll be back with another movie review. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.